Testing, testing. Mic check. Testing, testing. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check.
One
Miss-
sec, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, before I do the roll call, Trustee McFadden sent an email that she's out of town and a bit under the weather, so she asked to attend this meeting remotely. Are there any objections?
Any objections?
Okay, then let me try to get her.
Yes, ma'am. Alabama wind up with North Dakota State.
But did you see where Hunter got the Heisman?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Carolina?
Did you see the first thing he said? My fiance gonna get my first check. The Heisman Trophy winner.
No, that girl, leave her alone.
No, leave him
Leave her
alone.
alone. You see that? When I seen that on live TV, that was she is too immature. Her attitude is wrong. And if she gonna sit here and say, I gotta grow too, he needs to find him a new woman.
That what she said?
Yeah, she said, I need to grow. And he is too naive. He just don't know. Just, okay, I know they've been together 5 years, but you about to make millions, my man. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Flee while you can.
Trustee McFadden?
Yes.
Yes, we're at the board meeting, and we're getting ready to do the roll call. Are you in a quiet environment?
You know you called the wrong number, but that's okay.
Okay. Okay.
Roll call, Madam Clerk. This is for attendance.
Trustee Lewis?
Present.
Trustee McFadden?
Present.
Trustee Fulcher?
Present.
Trustee Thompson?
Present.
Trustee Williams?
Here.
Trustee Brooks?
Present.
Mayor Rudis?
I'm here, Madam Clerk. Please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
All right. General public comments.
Did anybody sign in? Did anybody sign in?
No.
No.
Not for this.
Okay.
Item F1A is a discussion, tax levy, public hearing discussion, and ordinance levying taxes for general, corporate, and special purposes for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2024, and ending the 30th of April, 2025, for the Village of University Park, Cook, and Will counties, Illinois. Is there a motion?
We don't.
No, we don't need no motion. Don't need no motion. It's just for discussion. Any questions? This is just for the discussion. Yes, this is for, yes.
What is our levy? What is the percentage?
I'm sorry.
Trustee Thompson has a
Percentage
question.
for the levy, percentage.
What percentage? So you guys are raising the percentage is 55. The percentage is 55%, but that's because we're absorbing the TIP 5 EAV.
Right.
So the ultimate total percentage change is 0. Because all of this happening, what will happen is that we were getting everyone a reduction in their taxes because of the fact that the TIP 5 EAV will ultimately raise your overall EAV so that you guys can absorb that, and that's by doing that, that's how we're raising the tax levy, to absorb the TIP 5 EAV. So for truth and taxation purposes, we are raising the tax levy, but in actuality, from a practicality standpoint and from a tax bill standpoint, it will actually result in a decrease in everyone's tax bill.
By how much?
On average, it's about $45. There is a packet On the last page of the document that I gave everyone, the bounded one, is the average on various property taxes in the village, in the village. The various property rates on each of the EAVs, that very last page of the bounded packet. And I do have copies for the residents if you want me to distribute that in 1 second. I can distribute that as well.
Okay. Mr. Junior, I don't think so.
So that's for various properties within the town as to what their current EAV market value is and how much what we're recommending will result in a decrease in their property tax bill.
The last page of this packet?
No, the one that's bounded.
Oh,
Yep. So on average, if your property is valued at EAV of $96,975, you're going to see a $121 decrease in your tax bill. $96,975 EAV, you're going to see a decrease in your tax bill of $121.32 from the village perspective. So the first column out in there is the market value per what Will County is saying, and then the next column is the EAV value, and then the far right column is what the decrease of everyone's property tax bill from the village perspective would be.
so the proposed rate is gonna be 4.07%?
Yep.
Okay, that was the question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, if there are no other questions, we're going to go to item F1B, an ordinance providing for the annual budget for the fiscal year commencing 1st of May 2024 and ending April 30th, 2025 for the village of University Park, Cook and Will Counties. Questions?
Just had the one question. I think, because we went over the levy and the budget information during the finance committee meeting, so a lot of those questions were answered. It's just for the executive liaison part-time salary. I thought that's supposed to be $18,000. It's been $18,000 for the past
Okay.
years.
If that's something that the village would like to change, I would just recommend the motion, once we get out of the committee, of the hearing, the motion to approve it would be to approve the budget with that one change as stated. That would be my recommendation for the budget then. If that's the one change, that's how I would just address that.
I just wanted to make sure that, because it has been 18, you didn't give it wasn't like no any particular reason why it was changed to 25. So if there's no reason, then it should stay at the 18, because we didn't agree to increase that. And then you had already put in within the budget, the placement holders are in there. That accounts for what was that, almost $4 million?
Yeah, for the TIF 5, yes, that's all accounted for in the column called TIF 5 increase.
I have a question related to that. So the next one, under executive liaison part-time, is village board assistant salary. So, village manager, what's the difference? Executive liaison part-time and village board assistant. Is that the same position? So that's 35,000 for the same, so.
So is that village board assistant is, because it's always been executive. Oh, I'm sorry. The salary for this, yeah, that sounds better. Thank you, Ms. Millie. The salary I was bringing up was, we always had an executive liaison, but never had a village board assistant salary, so I'm a little confused because is this something that we just created? Because I've always known it that we had Jonna Townsend, Claudia,
And a couple other folks.
the young lady in Ricardo.
Carrie was the first one.
Carrie Boykin was the first one.
She was the first one.
But let me ask
So, I
this,
mean, are we breaking off
because
where,
it seems like that number was the number that was set aside to be that community relations person that was reduced, that Keely's job was. It seems like that
No.
was that number. That was that number?
no, that number was strictly over in Park before we did the Park and Rec. That was created in 2017.
No, I thought when we was looking at the thing and cut that community relations position out, and I thought it reduced the salary down to. Okay, okay.
Yeah, okay.
all
So
right.
then, yeah, so
Okay.
I guess,
So
you know, I
two
guess,
different things, okay. Thank you, guys.
yeah, so is this like new or that's the only thing, I know we have it here, it's in the 2025 budget. So is this new? We gonna be able to,
In reality, I think that executive liaison should be bumped up a little higher than 18,000, and the other one can be eliminated, should be eliminated. Because that's essentially saying the same, doing the
but we
same
never
thing.
had one. We never had one. Unless I'm confused, we never had one.
We never had.
Another one that's, seems like a duplicate too, community outreach coordinator, and also communication and community engagement specialist. What's the difference?
That's when we had the migrant, the assistant, the person who was doing the coordinating and outreach for the community.
That's what I was just talking about.
That's what that was.
Salary in half or something, yeah.
They split her salary into two people.
Right.
That's what that is.
One of these,
The village board assistant, you said?
the community outreach coordinator,
Somebody likes something, too many likes something.
the community outreach coordinator, and a communication and community engagement specialist.
The communications. That's the one that I was,
That,
The outreach
that
coordinator.
was,
the one that was cut down, right? Which was the
that was the outreach coordinator.
And I guess I got another question, if I may recognize.
Go ahead.
I see here the deputy fire chief salary 110, only budgeted for 55. Is that just a notation, Chris?
That's because as
That's-
of right now, throughout the entire fiscal year, there was only fire chief, so I didn't budget one for a position that's currently not there. And even if we go for the full period, it wouldn't have an effect, because there's no way, no matter what salary you may assign, they'll get to that level for, as of today.
Oh, okay. And I guess this is from a police officer's perspective, from experience. Why is the police chief only getting 115 and the fire chief getting 115? Usually the fire department is at least higher. Is that just a negotiating within the contract, Chief Mitchell? Is that something you just
They're not
agreed
in
to?
the contract.
They're not,
The department heads were not in the contract.
the department head's not in there.
They're not in the contract, but I'm seeing non-union. I just seen here that the police chief is at 115 and just, I just want to make sure, is that something that's agreed to? Because normally the police chief's salary is higher than the fire chief. Chris don't, he's not familiar with that, but he's just putting what is in front of him. He's a numbers man. Probably good in fantasy football too, ain't you? Anybody? Police chief? Not saying, you know, you don't deserve a raise, I'm just saying, was that what you agreed to, chief?
Well, that was based on conversations to make sure that the department heads receive the same appropriate percentage raises out of it.
Wouldn't the police and fire commission determine that, or have something to do with that aspect?
No, usually what happens is, and we just voted for the police contract. So your highest paid, and this is, I think I mentioned it before, and this is, maybe I'll just bring it to perspective for where I'm coming from to scale back. Usually if, say, for instance, they have a sergeant that is, their highest paid in that contract is about, I think they are 95 or 98,000. Usually from there, you want your deputy chief, which we don't have one right now, you want that at about 10,000 more. Then from there, your fire and police chief, and I'm speaking of both civil service employees in their contract, your police chief definitely needs to be from 5 to 10 more than his deputy chief. That was what I was trying to explain in 2018, only just to put us on board with your normal standard of how you pay out your public service when it comes to the police and fire contract. So that's me saying that if you have a police sergeant, because we don't have anything above, I think that's the highest civil service rank. If he's at 100,000, your deputy chief should be around 110. Your police chief should be more about 120, 125. That's what it's supposed to be. Because he's not going to get any overtime, he's not going to get any of those things, but he will come out just like everybody else, and that's part of being a salary employee. So that's just me saying it on a fair basis. That is common practice in every municipality, and you're talking to one who has been part of 2 municipalities and the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. So I pretty much know how it works. I just think that as a board, you know, if the village manager had negotiated a contract to 115, I'm fine with it. But I just wanted to know that I seen it, and I had not seen that before, in which here in University Park, we don't, it's a lot of things we see for the first time. We're just trying to make it normal, we're trying to make it better, and if that's what Chief Mitchell had negotiated in the contract, I'm fine with it. It's the same way with the village manager. If that's the negotiation of a contract, you know, that's fair. You know, that was what that individual wanted to work for us for. So I just asked that question because that is unusual, but I wanted to make sure Chris, he can't answer that because he did not negotiate it. He just only putting down what he's seen, as well as the deputy chief, yes, is budgeted 155 because we have not had one, but we can always switch it in the middle of the year if I'm not mistaken, board. It's a budget.
Always been amended, working document.
Keyword amended. So I yield my time. I just wanted to make that point.
All right. Hit yours, Madam President. Anybody else have any other questions? Are there any other questions from the
Votes aye. Oh. Votes aye. I forgot you on the phone.
Votes aye.
Votes aye.
Present.
Trustee Williams,
Here.
Trustee Brooks,
Present.
Mayor Rudez.
I'm here, Madam Clerk. We're gonna do it one more time. Stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This general public comments for agenda items only. Other general public comments will come after bills payable. Unfinished business, E1. E1A is a resolution amending 0204-09 to increase. Now I'm asking someone to make a motion to strike the word annual liquor fee. To strike the word annual.
Strike the word annual. Motion.
Yes, we in first thing. No, not to the agenda item, no. It's down here.
Okay.
Roll call, Madam Clerk. Wait a minute. So this is what I'm asking for a motion for, so everybody can be on the same page. We want to strike the word annual, and everything else is passed already. We're gonna maintain our same every 6 months collection rate.
It was five every 6 months.
Wait, we can't have this, because that was what we just voted on, is to change it to annual. So why are we striking annual? I'm not.
The numbers are just don't add up that way. So this way, by just maintaining the same collection rate as we're doing now, we can come back and make it annual now, because it's late in the game to put a big increase on the liquor licenses. We just do like in 5 days for our vendors and stuff. So right now, we gained about $700 because we had small increases like 400. So we actually profit $700 instead of doubling. Instead of doubling the fees.
Since it's gonna be, every 6 months, then is it gonna be double?
It's about $700.
So what are you changing it to?
This would be to just remove the word annual out of the current ordinance.
Well, my question is just that, how does that impact the fees?
Go ahead. It doesn't impact the fees. We've increased, I think, from 25 to 50. We maxed out on something. Overall, instead of us, because you guys made a great point talking about how it's going to be hard to double it up. So what this does, it gives us about a $700 increase, and instead of going, because we know annual, it'll really beat it in the pockets right now. So we maintain it this way. We maintain the same collection rate with a small increase in services. Then we can come back in the middle of the season and go back to the annual thing, so we know for next year, because proper notices and everything haven't gone out, and it would be really bad for the vendors to get proper notice now and say all of a sudden you got a huge increase. So that's why the suggestion would be just to strike the word annual, and then it puts us back on the same schedule every 6 months license. Yes. Yes.
So the rates, all the amounts remain the same, that's what you're saying. And from the 3 or 4 times it's been on the agenda where we were switching it to biannual, to our annual, That was the court request, to change it to annual. And then it wasn't there, then we got it back on the agenda and said, put it back for annual. That's all we need for you to do. At that time, myself and I think Trustee Thompson was like, let's talk about the actual fees. And we didn't want to go into that discussion. And now you're saying, let's go back to take off the annual, no annual, and put it back to what it originally was.
Because the board, we all approved the fees, I think, for instance, the video gaming fees, we matched them out, I think it's $50 to max. What is on the gaming machines?
Well, I'm not sure about the gaming, but this is,
That's the max, right?
this is for the liquor. So we're not doing the gaming, but the liquor stuff, that's what we were saying. You're switching it to, so I'm just saying, it's been on the agenda like, this is the 5th time on the agenda. And now you're asking us to go back to just scratch everything that we did for the past 4 times on the agenda and just go back to the original. That's the request.
Council has advised me that at this late in the game, and to try to double up and increase on the fees would be a hardship on the vendors right now. So if we strike the word annual, the village still gets an increase in fees. It doesn't double up on them. We maintain the same collection rate. License is being done every 6 months. And after the first 6 months, if the board chooses, then we can go and make it annual. Then they'll have proper notice to start January 1 of 26, that will fees will double up. Yes, ma'am.
Fees, that would be every 6 months.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because these are not the fees that were in before we amended the fee schedule.
These are annual fees, right?
These are annual
So then they will be
fees.
broken down to by annual fees. So instead of paying it. Yeah, because we got the advice and consent, because Attorney Safar was saying that we need to put the word annual on here,
And that passed.
and that passed. And
But the fee schedule in June
so
differs from,
what we passed in June was,
it was less than that. That's why I
In
asked it.
June, you increased the fees, but that is the current, that's the correct fee schedule.
But this was for annual,
I know that, that's why they're removing annual from
the
language
language.
of the ordinance, so it doesn't have a big impact on the license holder at the end of the year.
Right.
And then next year, I believe that they're then going to give notice to the license holder, so they know that the fees are gonna go up, double it, right?
Right.
So you're gonna change it, so they know, so they can budget for it over the 12 years, they know it's gonna double from what that is.
Right,
If
that,
you're changing the ordinance, just to remove annual, what that fee schedule is the fee schedule for, this year, 2024.
okay, but this is not the fee schedule that was
That-
passed in June.
That I don't know.
That's why I was asking.
So it is gonna go up for them.
This is an increase.
That,
But this will be the double up, correct?
This is not quite doubling, but this,
Not quite, but it's
right, but
but
it
it is an
differs.
increase.
right, it differs from the fee schedule that was passed in June. There's an increase from June. We did get a motion and a second.
So, okay, so my question is, why wasn't the notification sent out to the owners? Because that was the whole purpose of that last meeting. It was like, hurry up, let's get it done, so we can make sure we give the notice to the liquor, those that had the liquor license. So, why wasn't the letter going out? Why didn't the letter go out?
it doesn't come from me, it comes from the collector's office. And the language just wasn't, it seemed like the language wasn't getting what the objective was. And she had challenges about the licenses and had a lot of questions about the fees and comparing the licenses and things that way. So when time elapsed, she felt that it wasn't enough time to give them proper notice, because now it's just all of a sudden hitting them upside the head with the double increased fees starting January 25.
So my suggestion is that we changed it to back to original, what was it, January 2024, until we can come up with whatever changes that we would want to agree upon.
We passed the fees, we passed the licenses.
But the fees was passed with a change, because we were thinking it was going to annual. So now you got different rates, and then now you're asking for it to go back to take off the annual.
But the rates are the same, and instead of them paying that one lump sum, they'll be paying every twice a year instead of one lump sum. Instead of them have to drop $3,500 down January 1st, now they'll pay half, and then 6 months down the line, they'll pay the other half.
That's what I'm saying, why don't you just go back to what it was originally, and then we
That's why we
revisit.
If we strike the word annual, that's what it accomplishes
So-
with our increase.
So by
The attorney suggested.
going back to
We're-
whatever, January
We're going back
2024.
to the original until 2026, yes.
Say it again?
We're going back to the original schedule and the original fees till 2026, essentially
original-
January 1st.
The original schedule and the original fees, correct?
Yes.
That's what, okay.
There was an increase in the fees that we all
That was,
approved,
that was in June.
We all agreed to that. But instead of them paying once, it's broken down to every 6 months, so it wouldn't be a hardship. And the fee increase is $700 overall out of all the licenses.
Okay, Mayor.
But we agreed to it based off of it being changed to annual. That's my thing. So we agreed to the fee increase because it was being changed to annual. Now we're asking for it to be changed back to biannual and take off the annual, but we already increased it. So why don't we bring it back to what the original was, and then we can discuss it next year? So that means to basically amend the ordinance to back to the original.
So if we strike the word annual, we get the same dollars, we get everything that we do. The only thing different is the collection rate goes back to every 6 months. That's the. We definitely get more because we increased the fees.
You increased the fees, but the
We all
fees was
agreed to-
increased based off of it going to annual, so that's being kind of deceptive to me.
But the money, it's not being deceptive, but the money is still the same. Whether it's one time annually or is it broken down every 6 months, the money is still the same. The only thing
With an increase, you said.
It gives our vendors an opportunity to get themselves prepared instead of dropping $4,000 on them on one time. They can pay their regular fee and then go to 6 months later, be up to date.
So, may I be recognized, Mayor?
Go ahead.
So, me just trying to comprehend this, I'm looking and it says right under the license type, the license fee provided herein shall be for the whole or any portion of the license period for which the application is made. So, here, I'm assuming that you're saying drop the annual of saying that it won't come in as a whole, that it would still be, that they can pay
As they've been doing.
in any portion of the license fee throughout the year.
They'll pay their first installment. It's a two installment. They'll pay their first installment, and then 6 months later, they'll pay their second installment, instead of it all at one time, pretty much by striking with annual. Attorney support, when we had enough time, when we were trying to get it done, that would have been enough notice to send it out to the vendor to let them know that it is going to be a rate increase. But since the collector wasn't able to, whatever, didn't get it out timely enough, or we just didn't get the language squared away, then we have to come back and suggest it's just like the word annual. We get our increase, and then we can come back and revisit it and go back to annual. Yes, ma'am.
Just FYI, liquor license is the only license that can't be prorated. Okay, like your business license and your daycare, all of that can be prorated, based on how much time is in that year. But liquor license are not prorated for any portion.
schedule?
Yes.
So Donna,
Is this the fee schedule we're going?
so we all increased, what was the increase? We maximized the game and stickers, we went up to different
That's
prices.
not in there,
That's not in here, but yeah.
right, but here's the fee schedule that's in for vote tonight,
Right.
which differs from what was passed in June. That's what, right, that's what was passed in June when they voted to make it annual, to insert the word annual, that the license would be annual. This fee schedule has changed since June of 2024. I think that's what. Right.
The different amounts because we were going to annual, and we agreed upon that. But now since we're going back to the buy, that means they're gonna be paying, a lot. I don't know the breakdown of each one,
It would
but
be-
it'd be more.
It would be wouldn't it be the same instead of just broken down into 2 installments instead of just one payment?
Only, it would have been the same, but we increased that amount in June, correct? So we increased that amount in June. It's not the original as what it was January 2024. In June, we increased it because we were talking about doing annual. So that's why I'm proposing that to take away the annual, because that will be a big increase for them if we don't take that annual out of it, but it should be going back to what the rate was in January 1st, 2024, like what Ms. Manager Scott is saying. So I don't know what those amount is, but that's what it should go back to, right?
So, for example, I think what they're saying is, let's just use this number. It was 1,200, it was increased to 1,500 because it was based off of the idea that we were going annual. Now, if it's 1,500, you're saying break it down in 2, but that's not really the same because we did increase it. So they were saying they agreed to that increase because it was based off of an annual, and am I getting that right? But if it's not going to be on annual, then they would like to go back to the old fee schedule. Is that correct? Until we're able to get an exact gauge of where we want to be. And I think because it's so late in the game, because of the fact that we have to get these people are calling us about paying, I think right now, because I think that we should go back, revert back to how it was before, strike the word annual, keep the same fee schedule, and can we please revisit this in the spring so that there is more than ample time instead of waiting till October?
To the original, it should be taken back to the original of January 2024, whatever that amount is.
Notify the license holders that the fees will be going up.
Right, they will.
Yeah, it's just.
In the next year, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna make the motion with the amendment on this?
So I
Okay.
I motion, the ordinance number I had, for ordinance number 02024-09 to be amended and reverted back to the original numbers and term as of January 1st, 2024.
2024, okay.
I'll second.
Because that'll change everything back to the, like I said, the term. That's why I said term, yep. The amount and the term.
I'll second.
Okay, so there's a motion with an amendment by trustee Fulcher. There's a second by trustee Thompson.
Okay, to amend.
Make sure we get the language right.
Did you write that down?
Thank you for clarity.
Back to the original term.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The original, Original term and fee schedule as of January 1st, 2024.
Okay.
Attorney Murphy, is that the correct language?
That's fine, all right. So there's a motion by
Wait a
Fulton,
minute.
second by Thompson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Wait a minute.
And I still can't. Lord, help me make it through the day.
Okay.
All right, roll call, Madam Clerk.
This is on Trustee Folger's amendment. Trustee Lewis. Trustee McFadden. Trustee Folger.
Both sides.
Trustee Thompson.
Both sides.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks. Mayor Rudez.
Vote aye, Madam Clerk.
That motion passed. Now we got to go back to the original motion, which is to approve this increase in the license fees as amended, which is, and this is, that's it.
Okay,
It's an ordinance, it's not a resolution.
this is ordinance.
I didn't do that. To return. Okay.
All right. Item E1A, this is an ordinance amending ordinance 02024-09 to increase
That's,
liquor license fees.
that's what this, that's what
That's
all
what we
this.
just did. We just did that.
But that's the motion. No,
No.
what just passed, just for clarity, what just passed was your amendment to return to the original term and the fees that were in effect of 2024, right? Okay, that passed. Now, the motion is to approve,
Now we need a motion to approve the amendment?
right, to approve
Okay,
as amended.
Motion to approve the amendment.
As amended. Okay.
Motion by Lewis.
We've got a motion and a
And then
second.
second,
We just need a roll call.
roll call, Madam Clerk.
A second. The amended.
As amended, your original motion. Okay.
Roll call, Madam
Okay.
Clerk.
Trustee Lewis,
Both sides.
trustee McFadden, trustee Folger,
Both sides.
trustee Thompson,
Both sides.
trustee Williams,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks, Mayor Rudez.
I concur, Madam Clerk.
Mayor
Vote
Rudez.
aye, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, that's ordinance 2024-17.
Item E2A, first, second, and third reading, an ordinance levying taxes for general corporate and special purposes for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2024, and ending April 30th, 2025 for the village of University Park, Cook, and Will counties. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Lewis, second by Thompson. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Lewis,
Both sides.
trustee McFadden, trustee Folger,
Both sides.
trustee Thompson,
Both sides.
trustee Williams,
Both sides.
trustee Brooks, Mayor Rudez.
Vote aye.
Mr. Mayor, that's ordinance 2024-18.
Item E2B, the second and third reading ordinance providing an annual budget for the fiscal year commencing May 1st, 2024 and ending April 30th, 2025 for the village of University Park, Cook, and Will counties. Then moved by McFadden,
Second.
second by Lewis. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
We wanted to, based off of what we discussed at the hearing, is to Motion to, what, to exclude the village board assistant salary of the 10,000.
Okay, wait.
And that was on, I don't know what page. Okay. I was looking at the summary report.
To exclude what?
To remove the salary for the village board assistant salary of $10,000. That was, you need the page? Do you need it? Yeah. Removing it, I said, did you need the page number? You don't need the page?
Yeah.
Huh? I don't know what page it was. Oh, it's on page 5. Okay. It say assistant.
Okay.
And then for the executive liaison position was to bring that back to 18,000. I know you said you wanted to go up a little higher, but maybe 20,000. I don't know if y'all agreed to the 20,000 instead of the 18. It was supposed to be 18,000.
But you know, it's a lot of work nowadays, and every person really needs to be compensated. It's hard to get good people.
So if you all agree to 20,000, I'm fine with that, but it's supposed to be the 18. I don't agree with 25.
20 or 25.
Go 20, go 2250.
I think 20 is good.
Okay, go ahead. Manager Scott.
I just wanted to say something in full transparency. Previously, there was a person in that position, and collectively, they made a certain amount of money because it was really combining two positions. The reality is, we're going to have a hard time keeping people. This has been the subject of much conversation, I'll say, with the last two executive assistants, because who is going to work for $18,000? And when you really break down the number of hours, and I'm just being very honest, there was a lot of conversation, like basically they were making $12 an hour. And you're not going to get anyone who's going to provide the level of service that I think this board wants, not just the mayor, but to this board, making $18,000. I am respectfully requesting $25,000. This person does not even receive benefits. So I'm just really asking this board to really think about that. And that former position was making collectively, I think it was,
joint.
right, but it was in excess of, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was around 60, I believe, closer to 60. So now you're scaling it down to 18,000. So honestly, and we've had a hard time filling that position that we split up. That was the former, that was Parks and Rec, because people don't want to work for that amount of money. And that's why we've had a really hard time filling that position. We have had people apply, but I'm really asking this board to consider 25. For the level of service that you all expect that I think you deserve, I think 25 is not a lot. And to go back and forth between 5,000, that's all.
So thank you for that, Manager Scott. But when we did the separation of the two, of the per individual that was doing the two, the 18,000 was still the amount. And then when I'm looking at, as for the executive liaison that we've had, I really haven't seen exactly all that the executive liaison is supposed to be doing. Honestly, I don't know if you all, but I personally have not seen. I mean, they could be doing a whole lot more stuff. So I'm willing to go to the 20. Because if you look at an actual assistant, if you do that part-time, you do full-time, that's 40,000. So I was trying to check and see, as in what the other assistants, what their rates are, and I don't know, the assistant. I don't know. Well, I don't know what, because that might be what the mayor works with them, but as for me as a trustee, I can say over the past couple executive liaisons that we've had, they really haven't done much that I saw. So,
I like to speak to it. In fact, I had this conversation today with Claudia, and she did a wonderful, excellent job. The other two, I'm sorry, they kind of failed miserably, in my opinion. If this is below minimum wage, and we do want to keep people, because if we keep lowering the rate, people aren't going to stay. They're going to take this for now, and they're going to keep looking for something better. And then we're starting all over again from square one. We've had 3, and it doesn't make sense. I think the 25 sounds reasonable, and I think we should keep it at that. I think that that's a salary that most people would feel comfortable. You tell them 18 or 20, they're gonna head for the hills. They're not gonna stay. These young people, it don't take much to make them move anyway. You offering them $1 down the street, they out of here. They don't look for longevity anymore. So we need to make sure we're offering a good salary, and like you said, it's not offering benefits and things, so you gotta make it up somewhere. That's my opinion.
May I be recognized, Mayor? Go ahead. So since I've been on this board, any executive liaison that we had did nothing for me, made benefits packet made. That's it. They work for you. They haven't been doing anything for me. So I think the role needs to be more defined, so we can get the best benefit, best bang for our buck. So if we're gonna pay them the 25, then they need to, the role needs to be more defined.
Well, I personally use that person a lot, and everything I asked for, they did. When it came to any type of agendas, itineraries, anything that I needed, so much so to the person said, I'll come to your home and bring it to you. You don't even have to come up here. But I didn't have that problem, so I can only speak from my own experience. But I think that there's nothing wrong with defining the position, but I think we still need to offer a decent salary if we want someone to fulfill it.
Go ahead. Let me just say that, I've been up here 2 terms, and I would say definitely the one executive assistant I will always speak highly of is Claudia. I can forget something, and my God, she'll call, hit that phone, and I know we had a salary for her that I think that was decent. I would say after Claudia, the one young lady, I would say she was getting into the groove. Okay, so see, I didn't know that. She did reach out, and yes, I'm the type that usually I'm not a phone man. I'm kind of still old school, but if you do send a message or email, I will check it eventually. So I would say she did her job about it. Now after that, after 8 years, I'm just saying nobody really hasn't done anything that stood out to me as an executive assistant, and if it's the salary. I think we need to have that discussion, but I'm also going to go with the trustees who say, we need to define that position, because let's be real about that position. When it first was created, it was done under Alvin County, and that person basically answered, they did their job, whatever phone calls need to be made. It was more towards Alvin County, and then it went to, and she became our village manager. So I'm just saying that if we're gonna, whatever we did back then, maybe we need to find and see if that's gonna work. But I have not received any, and I was the chairman of the Police and Fire Commission back then, and I would say they would reach out to me. Now, I don't see it. And so maybe we're right, we probably need to define the job description of what that person, or at least find a qualified person, at least to step back to what those ladies had did back then, that would show that they were working board and the mayor the way they work. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't see that anymore. The last person, I guess he's gone. All I know is he said, "Did you get my email?" I'm not gonna talk bad on him, just say, "Did you get my email?" I said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Click the link I sent you." I said, "Okay." "And you're doing what?" He said, "He worked for he's the new."
Yeah, well,
And I think maybe I've seen 1, 2 emails, and he dropped some in front of me, and now he's not here. So I think we need to do better to reduce this turnover in this position.
I think so as well. And Donna, I know that you made comments, but I would support the 25,000. And I guarantee you, rest assured, we won't be flipping and changing no more for the next couple of years.
Which is my thing is, when you look at the other assistant, the village manager's administrative assistant salary is at 35,000. That's for full-time. If we're gonna pay our full-time assistant only 35, why would we give our part-time 25,000? That's my thing is, it has to,
That's your challenge.
it has to make sense. And it doesn't make sense where we have a full-time assistant who does a lot of more work.
So you're saying bump
It's
that
only a
salary up?
$10,000 difference.
You saying bump
And you're saying an executive liaison who only just works for the board to do the scheduling and different things like that, to give them 25,000, it just doesn't make sense, full-time versus part-time.
So listen.
That's my thing.
So listen, Donna, let me just be,
What's the hours there?
let me just be frank. There's so much emails, there's so much business going on in the village that there needs to be a reliable person that we can that I can have in contact with, arrange the schedule. If there's any piece of legislation, anything that any trustee has asked for, I don't think that anyone has ever failed them as far as packages goes. And, you know, you look at the salaries, and I know that we had a person that probably tried to fit in, but it wasn't as fit because they had higher aspirations, you understand what I mean? And it didn't work out for them. But if you get the opportunity to get a good qualified person, check them out with their work, and it's done. Because I don't think there's anything that you guys have asked of me or an executive liaison that wasn't done. Yeah.
Well, I can say I've asked the executive liaison to do things, and it was never completed.
Okay, well, see, I
So-
never know, Donna.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. And it's not just about that one, because everybody is different.
Go ahead, that's me.
Everybody is different. Each executive liaison or assistant is different. They've got different skill sets and all that type of stuff. So I'm not comparing them to one another. I'm just looking at what the full-time administrative assistant is getting
So, I
versus
tell
the
you-
part-time. And that, I don't think that's
You don't think that's fair?
comparable. No, I don't.
So what you're saying is you want to boost up the one that's there full-time and keep this one at 25? Because it makes sense, it makes all the sense in the world.
It's gonna be hard to keep somebody for 35,000 for the full time.
But that's the salary
So
for the
maybe that
full-time.
should be increased, and we should keep this at 25,000.
Mayor Bab be recognized.
Yes, ma'am.
So, $25,000, we should define the role to specific qualifications like the trustees asked, because we don't know what that position does, so we need to define the board to bring in qualified people. And the assistant, 35,000 is kind of lowball, and that should be increased. It's a lot of work. That's kind of lowballing for that person that's already there, and that should be increased.
So what is the recommendation for because I'm not comfortable with the full-time only that big a difference, so, I don't know.
But you know what, though? Look at it this way. If the person is complaining, we shouldn't be complaining for them. But I understand.
No, that's true, but we want to make sure that things are fair. I understand if the person is not,
Right, you gotta be in fair
but
market.
when you are comparing, I always used to say when I worked at, when you're working, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, it has to be fair and it has to make sense because you can see what type of pathway to go. So, I understand a person's not complaining, but if the board wants to increase that one, they increase the part-time, then to me, the full-time should be increased. So,
So what's the consensus, guys? What we gonna do? Let's make the amendment, just keep it moving.
so if we increase the part-time by like 5,000, then we should increase the full-time by the 5. It should be,
You say 25 for this one, for the part-time, and then for the full-time, is that 30, so 5,000 more?
no, it's at 35, so 5,000, 40,000. I'm fine with that. The part-time was the 25. And then that's based off of us making sure we identify the position and it gets posted, all that type of stuff. And then the full-time gets bumped up to 40,000.
With when it comes to police and fire, is that we gotta make that difference with salary. We also gotta bring out the job, like you said. They in there from 10 to 4 with you in the calendar, and it's constant work. So that's when I made the bid. That's when I just said, hey, just ask Leslie. I think we need to start making that chart of the salaries.
That was what I wanted to make sure. Okay, perfect.
And I just want to say one other thing. I think also with the deputy clerk, we might also want to consider increasing that salary and getting a better understanding of the job duties and things. Because it's a lot of work, and 2,500 ain't going to cut it.
And I did, you're right, thank you, trustee, because I did mention that, was it last budget, that I said that was one thing that, what I don't understand is that in again, 2 municipalities before I became a trustee here in my own town, the other municipalities have more than one deputy clerk. They had, and I think that's something that we need to have a discussion with Madam Clerk, because that's her department, the ordinance. Right, and every municipality, if I can, right now, you can go right up to the hills. It's a deputy clerk available there, 2 of them. Actually, more. You can go to my old town, Harvey. There's more than one deputy clerk sitting up in there. So I think we need to have a serious discussion about, because this is the village ordinance. If she asks for it, we need to supply it. I think we need to have that discussion. Madam Clerk, if I'm around next budget year, I think that's a discussion that we need to have
Well, it's a town.
a serious discussion about expanding the budget for the clerk's office.
But also in that, it has to be, the job has to be separated.
Right. Now,
You can't wear 2 hats.
No, but
Right.
Well,
That's
listen,
the thing.
Now, the municipalities you may be talking about, Trustee Brooks, some municipalities actually have it as a union position. They do. And that's why it's a better pay, it's more, they're getting the job done, because this is really what they do. So that's why I'm thinking we may have to revisit and look at that position and decide how we go about it. But I do think 2,500 is lowballing it, and I think we should definitely take a look into it.
And it's the clerk who
It's
makes,
actually
it's the clerk
2,000.
that makes that decision.
It's
Let me
2,000,
just be honest. So
actually.
I think we, as a board, we ask, because her office, it's her office, we need to have that discussion with the clerk and ask her, Madam Clerk, what do you need to operate your, your office of clerk for the Village University Park? I know she sits up here, and I know we get used to it, but under ordinance and state law, we do have to go to the clerk for this. And I think we need to have a serious discussion on what she needs, and I think,
Yeah.
the salary.
Yeah, I definitely want to be in that discussion.
And I think maybe I was stretching it. I mentioned the word 12,000 last time, and I don't think I was stretching it, but I was just because, again, I'm saying what I witnessed. And no, when I say 12,000, don't forget my mindset is talking like mid-1990s when I was working. I knew the salaries of those clerks then, or I knew what they would get compensated for. And they were there, whether they were part-time or full-time. But I'm just saying we need to have that discussion. We have money, 19 million.
So Trustee Williams, do you want, because right now in the budget it says 2,000. I know you kept saying 2,500. It's 2,000.
Oh, Lord,
So do you want, are you recommending a different amount?
I am recommending, because I do think that that is a very low salary, and for the work that she should be doing or can do, it should be compensated accordingly. So I definitely think it needs to be revisited, and we got to figure out, what the salary should be, and get a clear definition of what her duties will be, and make sure that they're being carried out. That's all.
Manager Scott.
Since this is a working document, I would like to set clear guidelines on what the expectations are, the job description, just so that if we are giving this person increase, we should be getting board packets, right? We should be getting stuff on time if there's now 2 people assisting. So I really do think that we should revisit that. I don't want to jump the gun, because I think that prior to just giving someone an increase, I would like to see what those expectations are, because there has been some not continuity on what the expectations are, what the job is, the hours. There has been some discrepancy, so I would like to get that down pat before we just give someone money without having any type of sense of what the expectations are and the hours are working, because all of that is still kind of ambiguous.
Mayor, may I be recognized? Madam Clerk, aren't those duties defined already?
The deputy clerk basically, in the absence of the village clerk, the deputy clerk jumps in, and in addition to attending meetings when the clerk cannot attend, there or the deputy clerk works as an assistant to the village clerk, being in the office, someone who's in the office full-time and who can assist in most of the things that the clerk does.
So I guess my only question about that clerk position, say something happens and she has to fill a void, what happens when the deputy clerk isn't a village resident and say she had to come and hold the office?
Nobody. The only way, because the deputy clerk does not have to be a resident of this village. That's state statute and our village ordinance.
Right.
One more, Madam Clerk. So for the deputy clerk, whatever her duties are, you are responsible for the oversight of her position, am I correct? Or is it?
Her position, that portion that applies to the clerk's
Right, that's what
office,
I'm saying.
because all of the deputy clerks have been full-time employees of this village. Even back to when the unions were first, when AFSCME first came into place. The person who was elected president of AFSCME, 3837, Council 31, was the deputy village clerk. So when I hear comments that the deputy clerk should not be in the union, it takes me back to when the village first negotiated a contract with AFSCME Council 31. And they elected, because the board, the village, did not exclude the deputy clerk from the bargaining unit because it's not an executive level position. It don't hit that.
All right, let's go,
Well-
let's go.
Okay.
So what are we gonna do? What's your suggestion, trustee? What you wanna do with it? You wanna do something with it now, or you wanna look at it for the future?
I think it's gonna require more conversations on this.
Because the budget can't.
And even though, like, you have the definition, it needs to be fine-tuned.
Right.
We need to make sure checks and balances, things are being carried
Right.
out, and we can then consider an increase in the salary.
Okay. And the budget can be increased,
And it
can be
increased.
changed,
It can be
amended.
amended. It's a working document.
It's a working
Is,
document.
is right now, any of the clerks currently in the union, or are they involved in a discussion like they used to be? To your knowledge?
Yeah.
So, in conversation with, I don't know if I can say the person's name, but she was here for 30-some years prior to the finance director who was in the union. It was not a union position. She did confirm that. And then with the advent of, I guess, whatever went on and the finance director becoming the liaison, the secretary for the police and fire and all these different hats, that's when it changed. But the young lady who was here for 34 years, she said that she was not in the union, there was no conflict until the advent of that person who held multiple hats.
All right.
Here?
I just have one quick,
We got a motion and a second on the floor. Get the finance-
hold on. Chris, on this summary report, it says the village manager assistant of 50,000. So on this summary report, it say 50,000, but in the budget, it's saying 35,000. So what is the actual number?
If I remember correctly,
So that person, I can tell you, that person came into that position midway, similar to the deputy police chief position, I believe it was, that we talked about, that was 55, or no, the deputy fire chief. So because that person came in, and previously they were assisting the clerk, Madam Clerk, they only came in, they didn't come in at the full year, so they came in at 35,000. But their salary was 50,000.
Oh, so it's supposed to be 50?
Yes,
So
but,
it's supposed to be 50 inside the budget?
yes.
yes,
Half of the year she was at.
but half of the year she did not work for me.
The village
Oh,
manager.
okay, so I don't want any type of change to that one, because that would be lowering it. So if it's 50,000, it should remain at 50,000. And so that's
Now,
what
what
was,
position is that? I'm sorry. Yeah.
the village manager assistant.
Oh.
We were saying, because in the budget it said 35, but then I was reading some report, it says 50,000. So if you're saying that the salary is really 50,000, then it should be no changes. Got that.
Roll call, Madam Clerk. Give me three. Not four.
I'm gonna start on the other end. Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks?
Both sides.
Trustee Thompson?
Both sides.
Trustee Fulcher?
Both sides with the
Amendment.
amendments.
Trustee McFadden?
Both sides.
Trustee Lewis?
Both sides.
Mr. Mayor, that is ordinance 2024-19.
So the last one, item E2C, is there a motion adopting the treasurer's report?
Mayor,
Moved by Brooks, second by Lewis, question by Thompson.
could we please, this is my second time asking, have a treasurer's report that's easier to read. This is impossible to read. So, Ms. Ferris explained to me, this is how it goes in the paper.
Yes.
This is not how it has to be for us to be able to read it. It's like no space in between, there's a lot. So can we please have a more legible?
And who?
So I asked that before. But that doesn't mean that we have to do it.
That was the version that is going to the paper. If you guys would like a different
I'm
version
just
for your
saying,
guys'
it's
internal
not legible
for
to me.
approval here, I can make a separate copy, but that's the version that, once it's approved tonight, it can go into the publication in the newspaper. That's why it's the way it is.
And that's fine, but for myself, I don't know about anybody else, this is really not legible.
Okay, I can make two copies, one for the village board and the one that would go published into the newspaper for next year.
Chris, just a quick question, because I know the Daily Southtown, they have specific format that they will only accept for the treasurer's report to be printed. Did you check with them on that?
I've used this for multiple different clients. I've never had an issue with
They changed last year. We had all sorts of problems. That's why I mentioned it before we sent it.
At least when I filed for other clients, I've never had.
Yeah, I had not.
Check with them.
I had not either until last year, and we had a real problem.
Check with and
Okay.
adjust if need be.
Okay.
All right. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
This is,
Second annual treasurer's report.
okay. I do not yet have the resolution for the treasurer's report, but the resolution. I've just got the treasurer's report that Chris,
I don't have a copy of what you guys would usually attach as the resolution portion of it. So however you guys normally do your resolution attachment, I figure you guys can do that part.
I can forward.
The mark part is the hard. What I gave you guys is the majority of the data that you guys will need. The
Yeah.
resolution, I assume you guys have working documents as to just having to fill in those numbers.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay, thank you.
All right. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution or, oh, wait, we do the roll call. Trustee Lewis.
Both sides.
Trustee McFadden. Trustee Fulcher.
Both sides.
Trustee Thompson.
Both no.
Trustee Williams.
Both sides.
Trustee Brooks.
Both sides.
Mayor Rudez.
Both sides to accept the treasurer's report.
Mr. Mayor, that's resolution R 2024-24.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Tax bill, item E2B, bills payable. Tax bill approval is a list of general operating expenses for the Village of University Park that occurred on December 4th, 2024 through the 19th of December 2024. General Fund 726, 394 and 94. Road and Bridge, 4,262 and 22. Town Center Fund, 6,202, 97. Capital Project Fund, 58, 82, 82. TIP 5, 1,000.
682, Respond Now, Migrant Service Project for 1,300, what's that, $137,744. Ms. Scott, what is that, and who is Respond Now?
Respond Now is a nonprofit. That was the nonprofit, the Metropolitan Mayor's Office, the migrant grant that I applied for. That is the SMAS migrant grant that I applied for. The Metropolitan Mayor's Office is the only migrant grant that I applied for. And what it is the money for Respond Now was for wraparound services, legal, also GSU. The professors there were teaching classes, and that is what I was for. And that was the grant. We received a check for the village, which I think they paid us roughly $35,000 to rent this space for teaching classes. All this was reimbursed through the Metropolitan Mayor's Office, and how it goes is under the purview of the grant, they send us a lump sum check. We have to cut a check because of just how we structured the grant, that we are the grant for, and Respond Now and GSU are the grantees. So we have to cut Respond Now the check, and Respond Now pays GSU.
Okay.
And that did not cost us anything at all, came from the city and state.
Okay, because I don't have anything about the migrants, but I can tell you, especially in this last circulation of petitions to be on the ballot, some of residents don't like, or they have a strong opinion. They feel that they would like to be taken care of first before the migrants, and I'm telling you, that might be one of the reasons why Donald Trump won. I'm just being honest. Number two, if we can, I still would like to know the names of those migrants that received that $4,000 haircut. I want the check, I want the names of the migrants who received $4,000 haircut from whoever in the barbershop. My next one is going to be, and that was in July, so I want that. For the check number 112859, see that Chris ran out. No, the other. That is the thing, right? DPW? Okay, all right. Money Chris, DPW. You Money Chris. So, True Green. We paid them for salt. Like, that was the question I was gonna ask Chris, when he ran out. For $1,650? Is that something, that's the first time I've ever seen that up on the board.
I believe that has to do with the golf course. And that's why we didn't see that before, because it was being paid in from a different way. But that is, yes, that is for the golf course.
And that's it for me. I yield my time, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Anybody else? If not, roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
I had a question.
Trustee Donna?
It's not about wanting to check out, but it's one of the things that was on bills payable. The street sweeper, I saw that it had to be towed. What is going on with it?
So we filed a claim. Some inspectors came out to take a look at it. We did a police report and all of that, so we sent that in, so we're just waiting to hear back from the insurance about that. There was an electrical fire, and it completely got torched. So it was totaled, and we're doing a claim on it now.
And that's that new one that was, yeah. Yeah, the limited, yeah. And I didn't see the credit card statements.
That's because we hadn't gotten it in yet. Usually we get it in a few days, but because we had the meeting on the 19th, we usually get it like any day now, like around the 20th, 21st, 22nd. And so that's why And that's why usually, because we usually have the board meeting around 26, 28, so I usually drop it in there right before then. So if when we get it to tomorrow, whenever, I'll make sure to upload it.
All right. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Rudez,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm calling the roll.
You know, but I want to say, I wanted the credit card statements, credit card bills to not be paid until I'm able to see the credit cards. So I'm fine with the rest of the bills payable, but I know I don't approve the credit cards. So I don't know how that needs to be put in there.
One, I think that would affect our credit. That would if we weren't paying bills. And with a credit card, you can't say, I'm going to pay this portion of a credit card bill and not the other portion. They'll still cut your card off. We do use that card for certain things. For example, if the police have to go get replated, we have to use that.
I understand it, but you
So
just said
it
the
will
statement don't
definitely
come in
cause
until
issues, and
next
especially
week.
with the village's credit, but, okay.
Right, the statement don't come in until next week, so we're approving bills payable now. So if you can just send me that information when it comes in, so I can review it, then it's no problem. But I can't approve credit card statements when I haven't seen it.
I understand, but please recall that when those were first put in, it wasn't for approval purposes, just like Menards. Menards, we already go to Menards, so you can't say now, we don't want to pay for the Menards when we went to Menards to get salt, to get tools, to get, now you're saying what, so we're going to take the decorations back, or we're going to take the tools back. That's just essential to run the day-to-day. It was only put in there because it was requested that we would put it in all at the same time. It wasn't necessarily for approval. It was just for you all to view, because when I got here, there were some issues about maybe not getting all the statements, not getting all the bills. So that was the reason why I started putting it in there, was for transparency's sake, just to have, so everyone would have it. But I understand.
Okay. There's a motion in the second. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Lewis. Trustee McFadden. Trustee Fulcher.
Votes no.
Trustee Thompson.
Votes no.
Trustee Williams.
Votes aye.
Trustee Brooks. Mayor Rudez.
Votes aye to pay the bills. All right. General public comments, what do you got here? Deborah Stroud?
Good evening, Mayor, Board, those present, those viewing. I've got a combination praise report and an appeal for 2025. I'm more than just a present under a tree. For us as survivors of COVID-19, we know that took away our comfort that we knew as a norm. So during the onset of COVID, December 24th of 2020, history was made in the village of University Park. Since adults were aware that Santa would be ringing their doorbell, they were able to answer their doors, knowing that Santa would come in to give their children aged 2 to 7 years old a gift. And the gift was not the big thing for the child. It was the presence of Santa coming to visit them at home. How many of us aged people can ever say that we had Santa come visit us at home? And I purposely preface this to indicate that joy and good cheer is something that all of us need right now.
Amen.
It can be given when it's least expected. Last year, a donor assisted Santa as a benefactor, and I was very happy because not just from the vision God gave me to found this event annually, I've been the benefactor of it as well. but it was done with great joy. At the beginning of 2024, here's the appeal part. How many of us told others that we wish them joy and peace and good health this year? As residents, we need to start and continue to provide much-needed joy to each other when we can, while we can, how we can. I don't care if it's a neighbor next door that needs snow removed. Remove the snow. It makes a big difference to that individual that needs that assistance. At this time in our lives, we are in such a societal distress all across the United States. Yet in this community, the simplest act that we can perform for one another, to each other, may be the kindness that somebody truly needed that day. It's not on an age level. It's not on a need level. It's just an act of kindness. Can we somewhat consider that for 2025? I've come to many meetings. Excuse me, Mayor. I know I'm the only name on there, so I won't take half an hour.
another person on there.
Thank you, sir.
But we still got to stick to your 3 minutes, because I love your message of positivity.
Okay, but anyway, December 24th this year, this will be the 4th annual Santa Visit at Home. That's the praise report. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your positive
And I've got some stuff for you for this year.
Pardon?
I've got something for you
Ms.
for
Boyd?
this year. No, I've got some things for you.
She
Thank
has
you.
some items for you after the meeting.
Okay.
Ms. Boyd? Good positive comments. Awesome.
That was a good, positive comment. Good evening, everyone. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hopefully, you all have a blessed Christmas this year. I don't have a lot to say, but a little bit helped. Speaking of the street cleaner, if I remember correctly, it was a used one, and I think we had a lot of opposition about buying that used cleaner with no guarantee, no warranty with it. So what's going to happen? Is it going to, do we require to buy a new one? Or is there going to be a warranty? Is it under warranty or just what? So that I am concerned about. The newsletter, I received 2 newsletters at my home, and I thought that was kind of unusual and a waste of money. And I thought the newsletter was really full of a lot of information, and I thought that it appeared as though Ms. McFadden is running for trustee again. I was wondering why all the people that are not running for office were not in that paper. They should have been represented too, you know. So we want to stop showing those kind of biases, okay? Sometime I would like to know when trustees are voting no, voting yes, I'd like to know why you're voting yes and why you're voting no. Just a yes or no is just not good enough. I need to understand that yes and that no. That lets me know you have a commitment there, that you're sincere. And you all were speaking of salaries this evening about regarding the person that's going to be the executive liaison for the trustees, I assume. Yes, we do need a job description for that person. We need a job description for the person that's going to assist the clerk. We just don't want to say you're just going to pay them something without backing it up. Why? That's very important. You know, our monies, we need to have accountability here for our monies. Where is it going? What is it going for? I understand that you're getting, that the village is paying you your health care. Is that a fact, Mr. President?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor?
I won't answer that question like that, Mrs. Boyd. And when people go out here and make these allegations, be very, very careful.
No, I'm not saying that you are, but that's why I'm asking, so that I can get clarity, because I want to have the right story out here about you and what we're accountable for here as the village.
Gotcha.
That's all it's about, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And thank you, Ms. Donna, for asking for the credit card bills. I do appreciate that. We do need to have accountability. It keeps everybody right when we check on each other. I just want to wish everyone a blessed Christmas, and let's continue to do good work here for the village, for our children, for the seniors here, and try to find out. I'm still concerned about our water situation here, because I need to know how the apartments, how they dealing with the water, how they dealing with the housing over there in the senior building, how is that being taken care of? I need to know, I'm concerned about other human beings besides myself. Thank you.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and your family.
Well, thank you, and I'm wishing you the same.
Awesome. All right. All right. Chief? Chief? Yeah, the public comments are over. That was the last public comments. Chief? Wait a minute.
So because we gave a report 2 weeks ago, I did tell my staff that they didn't need to have a report because we'd have a report for a week and a half.
Okay. All right. Trustees? Trustees, what?
All right. I didn't give a report. I walked out because it was a long night. And, yeah, I walked out. I didn't have a report for the month of December. However, I would like to say to everyone, first of all, is one trustee that I will always admire as he tried to, the short 2 years I spent time with him, Mr. Payton. He always grabbed the mic. He always said, Christmas is about the birth of Christ. So, Milton, if you're watching, I'm taking on as I reach year number 8, like you did, year number 8, to remind the residents again, Christmas is about the birth of Christ. It's the season of remembrance of what Christ came into this world for. I would like to say that I definitely can bear witness what happened to me when I became ill on February 29th. And I will always remember that during that period of time that I was off, I couldn't speak, really talk, any of those things, that all I did was I talked to him, and at the same time, he indeed showed me that I have a message for you, and so I will carry out that job. New Hope Church had a good time. Me and my colleague up here. It was the cowboy theme. That was this past Saturday. So had a good time. I have to really take my hats off to New Hope. Also take the hats off to my wife, Karen Brooks. Karen Brooks at New Hope Church. Joel Thompson, she always put her work in too. But I have to say that these ladies that you have in your community do good things. And I'm proud to really, I call Jewel my sister. I call Donna my sister too, so I won't leave Donna out. But, I'm proud of these ladies because they're always passing out coats, Pampers, and food to our residents. And one thing that they don't do is that they do not isolate the village of University Park. They include the village of University Park in everything. And that is the way we should be taking this village in 2025. We should not be segregated between two towns based upon the economic or racial status. That's just my opinion. And as long as I'm here as your public official, I will continue to be the type that will not, just isolate us to University Park. I will always represent. I was so glad and be proud of what Ms. Stroud was talking about with the snow removal, because because, yes, I want to say that what she was speaking about, we do, and when I got sick, I thought I was forgotten about. And every year, people know, if you live over there on Old Forge Lane, Clover, Shuri Lane, they will say, Trustee Brooks, the guy who's always cutting grass, but when it's wintertime, he shovels everyone's snow with that big power snow blower. I will literally go down Old Forge Lane, Shuri Lane, and Clover Lane with my snow blower. And those residents, believe me, guys, the wives, they appreciate it. They ask me, why do I do it? Not only I'm having fun with something that I barely get to play with because it's my big toy, but I know that I'm doing good for somebody else. I'm not doing it for votes because guess what? I was doing that way back in 2010. And now this is 2024. But when I could not do it last year, let me tell you the reward. Several people were driving by and they noticed the snow wasn't shoveled. And they said, something is wrong because they also seen that Karen was pulling out the garage, but I was not pulling out the garage. And people came and shoveled my snow. They did not know, thank you, Ms. Stroud. They did not know that I was sick. They did not want, and my wife was very personal about it, and everyone knows. So I want to say that what she was saying of the act of kindness, Trustee Brooks is up here saying that it can be you too. Look what happened to me, and I'm saying, Karen is not, y'all know her little self, I don't even think it's a pair of boots out there without heels she got. Is she gonna get out there and push that big old snowblower? No. You're laughing because she knows the truth. Y'all who laughing know. Karen does not wear no boots outside, no heels. So thank you so much for those who give that act of kindness. And in saying that too, in between time, Trustee Brooks became grandpa again. So, yeah, thank you. So, thank you. Kari is his name. Kari, and you know, I love the guy that my daughter chose. I'm proud of him, Mike. So, little Kari and Milan and Mike. You don't have to worry about Kayla having no kids. For those who graduated from Kayla, no. She's still tough, Kayla. But I would say, Kari, I'm so proud. Tobias Brooks is very happy of his little brother. So I just want to say also, for those I thought they forgot, I didn't say anything, but thank you for the birthday calls as well. Yes, I turned 52, but I don't feel 52. With this steel in my back and a torn shoulder, and it still gives me problems. But at the end of the day, let me say this. Seeing my grandson, and I think back, sometime I was talking on the phone with Chief earlier this week, and really even with Chief, I sometimes have to and pinch myself like 20 years ago, he was on the band with Hazel Crest, and I'm on the band with Country Club Hills. God does not, he don't wait on no man. Time will fly. You couldn't tell me that Mitchell and Brooks would be sitting at the same table, me as a public official, him as my chief. You couldn't tell me that happened. And, you know, I just kind of want to roll into saying that as life move on, next year, 2024, we definitely going to try to make it the best year. We don't know 2025. 2024, we did not accomplish a lot of things, and I just want to address some issues, and I want those who are listening to say that I heard you when you were signing my petition. There are some people who are disappointed in the Dream Team. They want to know why we haven't had no meeting since we got rid of CHW Group and determination of certain the lobbyists as well. Let me say this. Sometimes I went into this election with some expectation and different results. Sometimes things did not come out the way they should. And last week I made it very clear, I don't never hold anything personal, but everybody up here, I try to be as diverse as possible and receive diverse opinions. Sometimes I think my opinion is just a little naive like President Obama was the first term. But I'm learning. And that's why I always ask for you all to depend upon me to make the right decision up here. What I'm noticing, though, is I speak to it as your representative. I sat in some of you all house these past few weeks. What I like is that many of you are watching me and grow almost like I'm your own son. Some of you even treat me like I'm your own nephew. And I'm going to say this, is that I do feel the love for everyone here. 2/3 of this village was ready for the administration to change. It wasn't my fault or the other person that was on the ballot, and I know I came short 7 votes. But I'm still Theo Brooks, and I still represent who you are. So I want to say thank you to those who indeed had that conversation with me these past few weeks. And that in 2025, what I can promise you, as long as I'm up here, I'm going to give you my best. Last week when I did leave out, based upon, I gave my vote, and some of you see me leave, I voted no to the village manager contract. Now I say it again. The first time I did not know the village manager, she came through the door kind of funny. It's not my fault, it was not trustee Sonia Jenkins Bell's fault, even the clerk did not know. But I will say this, the second time around, the village manager, she called me, she talked to me. This time I really did not know what was going on. Not only that, I didn't want this form of government to change because I still have the opinion of what I read in Article 5. I'm a police officer. I studied the Illinois Compiled Statute. I can read. I'm not a lawyer like this gentleman here. I don't have that license to practice it, but I can read when you say that when it comes down to choosing these terms, the village manager should be indefinite. All this term mess started coming under Mayor Covington when you had 2 boards that was fractured. I'm telling you now, the Operation and Legislation Committee, they was a mess. And I'm telling you what the FBI agent told me, they never seen that before. And I'm not lying. I know we don't like to hear it, but I'm telling you the truth. That's why you elected me up here. I looked at a piece of paper that said, a resident showed me when I was out there, said, Aqua gave me $1,900 in this campaign. Now, you go on this website, you see, did they give me $1,900? Heck no. Because I still feel the same way that Ms. Boyd got up here and said, I still feel funny about this water. No one should be feeling satisfied about what happened. So at the end of the day, 2025 needs to be a new year. What needs to happen is that residents, if somebody came to your door this election, why don't you ask them the important questions? Because I'm going to tell you, Theo Brooks going to answer. You may not like the, you may not like the answer, but I can tell you 2/3 of this village have no problem with what I say. So when I left out last week, I gave my statement, but at the end of the day, I still feel this. Ms. Scott is always going to do her job when I ask her to do something. What I did ask is that I do feel that when you give a village manager indefinite contract, and there is no terms, and you give her evaluation, you allow her to do certain things, the whole board will have an opportunity to have their input of what this village wants. And it won't be as divided, it won't be let's count to 4. I really hate that. Because I will tell you, during the last 2 days before Mayor Prudence came in, on the board I was on with Mayor Covington, when we went into closed session, let me tell you something. You see a different group of trustees, and really as it came to an end, we all were family. There may have been some disagreements about certain things, but at least the village manager paid. If it was something wrong, he got it, and he did it. And if there was any conflict, one would come out of executive session, we would handle that problem. Now I would say, since I've been up here these past 2 years, we're working out right. But the residents are still not happy because we are not feeling that happiness that we should. So what I do say is that as I close my comments and saying as we begin this new year, because I'm not going to see you till New Year's, that we will work together better as a village, but also as you as residents, those who are listening, you need to do your part as well. If you love your town, come work and do and serve for your town. Don't give an excuse why you cannot come and join the committee
Thank you. Trustee Williams?
Okay, good evening, I know it's late. My sweatshirt says Christmas begins with Christ, and it ends with Christ. We need to have harmony in this community. It's something that it irritates me to the fullest how we're so divided. It's like how you got Trump people, you had Biden people, or you had Kamala Harris people. We have to work together if we're ever gonna see anything get accomplished. Now listen carefully to Sarah Boyd, and she was saying about the newsletter. When Neva Jenkins gives us an assignment, it's up to the people, the trustees, the office workers to turn in a report. So if you don't see them in it, it's not because she decided, oh, I'm gonna print her story and I'm not gonna print the rest of the people's story. You have a deadline, and she's extended the deadline so that people could get a chance to report. So it's not any bias there. You also mentioned about the water. We have the TAP program that's going on. They will come out to your house, they'll test the water. 2 weeks later, they'll come out again. And they will let you know if your water is standard, if it met the Illinois EPA's guidelines. If it didn't, then they are supposed to replace your pipe up to $3,500. And even if they said your water is in compliance, you can contest it. You don't have to go along with that. And in case some of you don't know, Aqua at this time is soliciting. They're picking different households and they're asking if they can come out to test your pipes. They're testing for lead and they're testing for copper. And they're gonna come back with a report. They picked me, I obliged them, I said sure. They came out, they checked the water softener in the basement, they checked the meter, then they came upstairs and they checked under the kitchen sink, and then they went out to check the box, you know, from the street. So I haven't gotten a report from them yet. They did say they'll come back out in 2 weeks. As I've always said, the fight has just begun. Aqua is not over. We're still gonna continue to keep on their case and to make sure that one day we do have water and the right infrastructure to give us what we need. But until then, if you don't do nothing, you don't get nothing. You have to stay the course. So I'm just telling you again, at that table out there, there are applications for TAP. Or you can go online to their website. They're an independent tester. They're not affiliated with Aqua. Bert Odelson made it clear, if we find out that Rambo and Aqua is doing anything together, oh, it's on and cooking. We're not gonna allow that to go on anymore. And we have, as you know, I get calls pretty much, I won't say every day, but at least 3 or 4 times a week, I'm getting somebody that's calling about their water bill or calling about the meter being in an inconvenient place where the technician can't get to it. I just had a guy that texted me on this week. They finally agreed, since they couldn't get to his water meter, they put one outside his house. And he said, I just want to thank you because you were the one that called the ICC and you called the Cubs people, and they finally got it resolved. So any problems with Aqua, I'm here. I will take your call, I will take your message. I have even sent out the TAP applications to people who said they couldn't get up here. And I put an enclosed envelope with a stamp so they can mail it back. So I'm working. Thank you. So I just want to say that for anybody that has that, or if you have another problem. And thank God for Ms. Scott again, she's giving out the Aqua Relief Fund. So if there are people in the village who your bill wasn't paid and you can't afford to pay it, I think it's up to $500 that they'll pay to get that bill turned on. Because we all know on Tuesday, it's only energy, light, and gas here. No longer LIWA. So thank God that she has opened the doors to that. and to the snow removal program. I also want to say the organization that I'm a part of, CCC, Concerned Citizens Committee, which meets every second and fourth Saturday of the month under the wonderful CEO, Joe Lovelace, who is a humanitarian, a historian. He knows this village inside out. We still meet at 11 o'clock on those Saturdays. We're looking to recruit members to get more people to join us. You can come out, you can say what your concerns are. We have, you know, it's order, but it's also more welcoming as far as, you know, we don't time people. So if you want to talk an hour like Brooks, you're welcome to do so, because it's no time limit. So come out, join us, help us, you know, we want to build this community. So, and as for the migrants and things, you know, my opinion is they came here, they're here now. They're human beings like us. Sure, we want to see stuff. I worked for the Illinois Migrant Council. When I was in college, that was my internship. And I watched how they gave those people money. It wasn't that many at that time, but if they came here, they got $25,000 off the bat. We couldn't even get anything. You know, you had to give your social security number, what time you ate breakfast in order to get a loan. But I do hope that we can continue to build a relationship with them and communicate and make sure that everybody is getting the proper resources that they need, because, you know, there's a lot of things we can do more in this village, but we aren't doing it. I want to see that senior program get revived again. So a lot of people run to Richmond Park. We should be able to run right here in our community and get exercise and do things for the seniors and, you know, even other people. So I want to see that. Now see, in the senior building, are they getting the aqua? I don't think so. I don't think they're under the watch.
They were not on the advisory.
Right, they're not under it. So, no, they don't get a,
The supply?
but they're not, are they being billed for their water?
I think you're talking about their water service. Yeah, it's provided by Aqua, but they're not on the lead advisory where they was going to pick up water.
Right.
No. Well, is the water okay? Yeah, that's why they weren't on advisory, yes ma'am, according to the IEPA. Oh, so they did test that? Yes. And they tested the apartments over here? Yeah.
They're supposed to have tested everywhere to make sure.
There's a defined area for those homes that were affected, as they call it, the lead advisory area. So listen, this is the problem that we really have. We come here, we talk about the water, but when you look at the ICC complaints from University Park, you got 25 complaints. When you look at the residents that are signing up for the TAP program, you got maybe 15 or 20.
There's, okay. Okay. We do need that, and let me say this, Ms. Boyd, because that story is a total lie. We sat here in this room collectively, and we did come up with the amount. Yes, and when we went to court, the judge, Anderson, came out and said, this is the way it's gonna be, because you all are late to the party. Y'all never did show up.
Okay, let's go back.
People didn't show up, and he ruled. It wasn't anything we could do at that time. He ruled. Well, Unfortunately, we had, right, we had an attorney, but right, okay, we'll talk about that again. And I just, we did everything within our power. So, I mean, residents could have been coming to those meetings and those hearings as well. He said that people did not show up. Whose fault was that? Okay, I just want to, I understand what you're saying. And, okay, and then I want to close, so. We okay, well, and I want to just say, also, I did enjoy the Christmas party, the little office party that they had to celebrate the employees. You know, we have to give them their due, so that was very nice to see the employees and to celebrate, and that's pretty much it. I wish everybody a happy, merry, safe Christmas and a wonderful, prosperous New Year.
My comments are going to be really short. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So I just want to tell everybody to be alert to what's really going on in the village. Don't be fooled by pretty stories. It's look around you, and you don't need anybody to tell you anything. You don't need a newsletter to tell you what you're living through every day. And I don't want to really, I don't want to belabor it. I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Let's come back strong together in 2025.
This is Trustee Janelle McFadden. Like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But a few things I wanted to share with you. Faith Movers Church is at it again. This Saturday, December 21st, Faith Work Christmas Edition is on and popping. Free food, free toys, and household items. Pull up and open your trunk, and they will put everything in your trunk for you that you need. So that's this Saturday, starts at 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So please stop by and have a wonderful Christmas. Now, the second thing I would like to let everyone know about, Trustees Karen Lewis, Donna Fulcher, Jewel Thompson, and myself were invited to Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton's second annual Black Women Lead Illinois Holiday Reception. It was wonderful. So it was for all Black women who were voted into office, and we just missed having Gina Williams with us, but we had a wonderful time. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. We were in the south side of Chicago, my hometown. We had a wonderful time. So we'll look forward to doing this again next year, and we're going to have Gina Williams with us. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and looking forward to 2025 with all University Park residents, trustees, the mayors, and everybody that's in University Park. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Trustee, you can get on out of there. Thank you so much. Thank you for your
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Trustee Donna Fulcher.
It's just like everybody's kind of on the same page. So I wanted to just say good evening, board and residents. As we come to the end of 2024, I'm asking you to add University Park to your New Year's resolution. What do you mean, trustee? Here we go. I'm asking each of you to try and participate more with your government and community. Participating more with your government means attending board meetings, town halls, workshops, and joining committees. We need for you to hold us, the board, and the administration accountable for what we say, what we do, and promises made. We need the residents to make sure the board and administration is following and obeying the laws, rules, and ordinances all the time. We need for you to make sure our police, code enforcement, and fire department is protecting us by enforcing the laws and ordinances so that we can feel safe in a well-maintained community. With your participation, the things that were not achieved in 2024, like repaving several streets, codifying ordinances and resolutions so we know the laws, offering programs for our youth and seniors, enforcement of village codes, village beautification, and better communication can definitely be more of a reality. Participating more in your community means supporting all events sponsored by the village and all community organizations. We need for each of you to first show up and find a way to sometimes volunteer your time, expertise, skills, and recommendations, so each of the events and programs can be successful. The community nonprofit organizations like Community Block Club, UP Lions, CCC, UPYBO, The Flame, and others are offering these programs because they see a need and want to help build a sense of community, sportsmanship, and support. Each of them put in a lot of time and effort for you, and all they are asking for is for you to participate. As a trustee, I'm reflecting back on University Park's 2024 progress, and yes, I saw some positive changes, but it's definitely not where I know it could have been. My resolution to you is to be committed to making sure our administration is working for the residents. I am well informed about agenda items before I vote. All contracts are reviewed and up to date, and there will be an increase in programs and services for our community, and committees will be more supportive and active. Just a little tad bit about me. I know sometimes people say I'm just kind of like more stern and I'm not as personable, which I'm not. I'm a very private person. But just something to know about me. When in college, I used to play rugby. I used to be this thick, this big, really. I was like a stick, but I played rugby. Rugby is it's like a type of football, right? So it's really a lot of big people in rugby. But I actually played and I did very well with it until I got injured. So that's just a little tad bit note about who I am, just so you can know something personal about me, is that I try something out. I don't care how intimidating it might look or it might be. Nothing is intimidating to me. I would like to thank you all for allowing me to be your trustee, and I personally wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, to stay safe. And this applies to our employees here in the village, our workers, and all our volunteers. Everything you all have done this year has not been overlooked, and that goes for everybody that's up here. So we do see it, but as for me, I'm going to make sure as a legislator that I address these issues if I see it. It doesn't matter who it is, and I'm more as in I do not keep things, I don't bring in personal feelings when it comes down to voting on agenda items. It's all about the facts, the information, and the research, and that's how my vote reflects. So I wish everyone a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee.
Thank you.
Great comment.
Would you?
Louis, you got something?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, as trustee Williams had mentioned, urgent, 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 come ye, come ye. Sign up for the TAP program as soon as possible. ACA will contact all residents eligible for the University Park Technical Assistant Program. The program operates on a first-come, first-served basis. For residents, customers living in University Park area. TAP runs for 1 year. Funding is capped. To find more information, it's in our newsletter. There's a QR code, or you can go on to the website, waterfactsillinois.com. To participate, residents must sign up by March 7th, 2025. Note the date, March 7th, 2025. Also, as we talked about the water relief program, the dates were not given for that. That's November 1st, 2024 to February 1st. It's in the newsletter. There's a QR code. You can come up to the village either way, bring your water bill, and there's someone to assist you at the window. Also, the snow relief program, please take it. If anyone knows a neighbor, an elderly neighbor that cannot get out there, just have them call the village to sign up so that can happen. I just want to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all. Yes, we had a great time at Governor Stratton's event. It was a beautiful event. I didn't even know that was tucked away on 83rd. I just want to say thank you all and have a great day, great evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor Rudez. I will be brief. Oh, okay. 'Tis the season to be jolly. I pray that we also remember and don't take Christ out of Christmas.
Talk about it.
He is the reason for the season. And he has given so much to us that I ask that we re-examine ourselves and try and spread love as opposed to hate. Give rather than expecting to get. Because in everything that we do, we have a purpose for our lives, purpose in our lives, to help those who cannot help themselves, to lift up individuals rather than stomping them down. Let's remember what the good book says. It says, love ye one another as I love you. So in the holiday seasons, we go through so many challenges during the year. And almost every day, we realize that somebody has picked up a gun, gone into a school or a church, and they're shooting and killing, and they have no purpose. So let's keep our neighbors in our thoughts. Let's put God, I put God first, family second, friends and fourth. I pray for my friends and foes daily because we do not know what anybody else is actually going through. So my wish to you is a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Any way that you celebrate, may it be with peace and love. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. So elegantly spoken. And as we close out, I just got to say something. Even though it's the Christmas season, holiday season, it's very frustrating when people talk about the water situation. It's very frustrating, it's very irritating, it's very aggravating. And everybody talks about where we are now. But no one ever talks about how we got to Kankakee River water. That's another story. We're not going to go there because driving and looking in the rearview mirror won't make progress. True. The whole goal is to ensure that Aqua provides us the best quality and source of water that they possibly can. But at the end game is to get away from Aqua and get our own infrastructure and bring in Lake Michigan water. So that's what I'm asking the residents to support doing that. It's a process that's already in place that's starting, the first initial steps are started. So we need this to collaboratively work together. We all live here, we all are questionable about private water suppliers. So
Have a feasibility study for Chicago.